Welcome back, Padawans, to another episode of the Holocron Minute. And this one is going to be a quickie. It's going to be a very quick episode because the article and what we have to discuss is not that much. I'm not going to really speculate, but I did want to touch on this because it is something that is very close to my heart. And, you know, to see this person leave, the game may change. The game may change. But obviously, as you can hear how I'm talking, we are discussing somebody leaving a studio. And that person is Stig Asmussen. So Stig Asmussen has been working under EA, really under Respawn. He has been the head of their department over there at Respawn and has really had a lot of hands on the Star Wars series, or the Star Wars Jedi series. So Jedi Fallen Order and obviously Jedi Survivor, obviously as well. The fact that we are, how open-ended we left it off and we left Cal, definitely think we're going to be seeing a third one, so he would have been there for that. But as we are going to get into, he has left the company. So this is coming from Bloomberg, and this is from our boy Jason Schreier. So he writes, video game director Stig Asmussen, who led efforts to rebuild EA's Star Wars game franchise, is leaving the company. Asmussen, a leader at the EA subsidiary Respawn, oversaw two hit games. The first, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, was released in 2019 to critical and commercial success and reached 20 million players. The sequel, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, came out in April and has topped sales charts. Quote, after careful thought and consideration, Stig Asmussen has decided to leave Respawn to pursue other adventures, and we wish him the best of luck. Veteran Respawn leaders will be stepping up to guide the team as they continue their work on Star Wars Jedi Survivor. End quote. This is from an EA spokesperson. The games were widely seen as a triumphant comeback after a shaky decade for Star Wars video games under EA. Their success helped turn Respawn into one of EA's top studios and even led the company to pull back on a mandate to add multiplayer to the other games. In April, Asmussen spoke to Bloomberg News about the company's remote work policies and the new game's relatively speedy development time. He said in March that he always saw the sci-fi series as a trilogy, and again, that is what I referenced. So that is the end of the article here, and again, it is sad to see. It's sad to see this man go. He obviously had a huge love of Star Wars and love for the franchise as a whole because of, how he took the effort to change the narrative about how EA was taking care of Star Wars games. Respawn literally is the company that gave anybody semblance of hope that we could actually see some good Star Wars games. I'm sorry, Savoy Prime, I apologize, but they are. They are. So that's my realization, is that this man had a huge hand and a huge part in that, and in the grand scheme of things, I think a lot of people are looking at Fallen Order, and looking at what it did to the gaming landscape as a whole, and as they're creating their own stories in the Star Wars world, they're going to look at Fallen Order and Survivor. They're going to. And whether it's to see, what not to do, or to, do something similar in at least the story aspect wise, or even in the gameplay aspect. I know they're looking at this game because this was the first major success that we had in Star Wars gaming media, in, almost 10 years. So I am very sad, and it does kind of, it sucks. And honestly, when we get to the bottom here, and it says that, when they talked to him back in April, he said that, he was talking about remote work policies and how fast it took, or they were pushed to get Survivor out. And unfortunately, you really could kind of see that at launch because of how janky it was in some spots. Even on PS5, which I played it on, there were a lot of pop-in and a lot of graphical issues, and I think the game crashed for me several times. One time was a really, really bad crash. So it's Star Wars, so obviously I'm gonna look past that. But in the grand scheme of things, we shouldn't have to do that. And in 2023, that's what buying a game at launch is. Unfortunately, at least that's what it feels like, because these companies, they know that they can just push out an update day one if they want to, or they push it out a couple days later. You know what I mean? They've got patches now where everything's online, so they feel like they can do this kind of thing, and it's taking it away from us, from the consumer, who now we're buying games that are not finished. And that seems to be the case with Survivor. And obviously, Asmussen didn't like that. It seems, again, from how he's kind of discussing things, and now we're here where he's leaving the company, maybe they did push them too hard, and that was not what Respawn wanted. And again, of course, that's not what they wanted. Every company that is out here making games, even if it's one developer, they're all trying to make a good game. That's what they're trying to do at the end of the day. They want people to enjoy the game. So if anybody's out here thinking that they're trying to make a shit game, like, that's not what's going on, you know? But when you have these big companies like this, who they're telling you what to do, unfortunately, not like the one-man developer, you have to do it. You have to, because that's your boss in the grand scheme of things. And if you don't, you're not going to work here anymore. So they will find somebody else, and maybe Asmussen is done with that crap. You know what I mean? But I just want to give you guys this quick update on what is going on in the world of Jedi, or of Star Wars Jedi, and what we may see. Because again, without Asmussen, I do think we could see some maybe changes in direction with story aspects. You know, when we get to the third game, which again, I don't see us not getting a third game in this franchise. I really don't. But if we're looking to do that, we could see a different kind of story plot, because the head of it's not there anymore. It is what it is. But guys, I'm gonna get you guys out of here. We'll get you back to the halls, and I will see you guys next time. We'll get you back to the halls, and as always, guys, I am Jedi Master Ren, and we will see you next time for another lesson in the halls of the Jedi Gaming Academy. May the Force be with you.